some more Fantastic Four news. Kyle, Fantastic Four, the trailer for First Steps, is the 8th biggest across all platforms in 24 hours. Now, there's some big winners in this category. So let's go with number 1. Deadpool and Wolverine, which had 365 million views in the first 24 hours across all platforms. Then we got Spider-Man No Way Home with 355 million in the first 24 hours. Then we've got Avengers Endgame. And then we've got Avengers Endgame again, in spot number 4. Both around, 290 for the first trailer, and then about 270 for the second trailer. Coming in at number 5, a trailer we got very recently, Superman, with 250 million views across all platforms in the first 24 hours. Coming in at number 6 is Avengers Infinity War, with 230 million views in the first 24 hours. Number 7, The Lion King, 225 million views. So, and this is what number 8 was. It, obviously, Bill Skarsgård, It, that had 197 million views. Fantastic Four has taken its place with 202 million views in the first 24 hours across all platforms. So it has made it into the top 10, beating out Avengers Infinity War for its second trailer and The Lion King for its official trailer. So, do you know what a lot of these films have in common, Kyle? Apart from the one on this list that hasn't been released, which is Superman. They are all billion-dollar films. What do you think this says for the box office for Fantastic Four? Because I didn't think Fantastic Four would do crazy big numbers. But you look at it, it's on that list. Every film on that list has done the crazy big numbers. This is coming from a franchise which historically hasn't done too well. You got the 2005, 2007, 2 films. You've got the 2015 film, which completely fucking tanked. What do you think it is? Do you think we're in this era of hopeful, comic book accurate movies and people just want to see them? We're coming out of the dark times now, the dark and gritty, and it's like, I want to see some fun. Because Superman's up there as well.
I think it is all to do with a lot of synergy of what we've had come out recently. You had the Superman trailer, which, I'd say mostly positive. I know that people will just, like Snyder fans and whatnot. But they're
Sorry.
like the loudest, but they are the
Just
smallest.
to cut you off, Kyle, have you seen that the Batman Arkham Reddit has gone to war with the Snyder Cut Reddit?
I have not seen that.
It is the funniest shit ever.
You'll have to show me tomorrow with that. But that sounds really good. I can imagine there's some good shit on there. But so we've had the Superman trailer, which was crazy. I everyone I knew had seen it. Everyone were talking, buzzing about it online, except your Snyder fans. And then you had the Daredevil Born Again trailer, which was just perfection. Like, everyone I spoke to about that, and there's people that I wouldn't expected to have seen it, are like, this is fucking awesome, and they cannot wait. And then, granted, the trailers have been good for Brave New World. I know we got them before Superman and Daredevil,
It's getting a bit more of that positive spin now, because it had this negative PR, misinformation campaign going against it, and it's like, when you really look into it, it's like, oh man, none of this shit's true. It don't have a $350 million budget. It's actually one of the cheapest Marvel films that's been made in a long time.
But I'll say this for the trailers and stuff. The trailers have been really good. I especially like the one with Kendrick's soundtrack in the background. I did short trailer.
Yeah, Mr. Morale and Big Steppers. It's won tickets.
I did. One. Yeah, I really like that one. So the trailers have been fine. They've been okay, I guess. They sort of get you excited. But yeah, I think it's just that. And people have been dying to see the Fantastic Four, and people know about the, because you got. I don't want to say like your regular movie goers. They'll be like, oh. I know about the Fantastic Four. I know they had some films years ago. I know they're somewhat to do with Marvel. They're a
Marvel's
superhero
first
family. Yeah, and you've got all these Marvel fans that are like, oh, they're bringing the Fantastic Four, and it's like when the X-Men technically joined the MCU with Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine. I think combining these two, you're gonna get a lot of excitement. Now you bring the Fantastic Four, which was very much an Fox thing. Now it's part of the MCU. There's loads of different things that can just bring it in, and the cast.
Yeah.
Not to mention them. You've got a fucking outstanding cast. All I'm seeing is great buzz around this. I think
even the Snyder fans seem to be loving
even the Snyder. Yeah. So
it's not to do
well,
with.
I think it's
not to do with. Let's go watch this so Superman fails.
Well, another thing I want to say as well. You know how people were complaining about. I know you've said this, and I completely agree with you about superhero fatigue, and there's too many superhero films, and people are getting sick of them. Well, you can't really say that because it's like having a gangster film, and then every other gangster film after that is not as good, or is it?
Yeah.
It's fatigue. People don't want to watch them. Blah blah blah. It's not that. It's just bad films. People are fatigued of bad films. And we've had a bit of a break. You only had Deadpool and Wolverine last year, and that was like the only good superhero film. It was the only superhero film from Marvel. So people have been waiting out. They've had a bit of a break. It's kind of like, it's like, okay, we've had some time to heal. Show us what you got, Marvel. And so far, from the announcements, things have just been rolling on, and it's like a snowball effect. It keeps getting better.
Yeah, no, I'm completely with you. We're in this positive area now, and it's like, right, Brave New World needs to pick up the torch and run with it. After Deadpool and Wolverine, he needs to carry it just for 3 weeks. Carry that torch just for 3 weeks. Daredevil Born Again. Then it's Born Again's turn to run all the way through to May, and then pass the torch on to Thunderbolts, and then Thunderbolts needs to do some heavy lifting and take it to, even though it's not MCU, take it to Superman, and then Superman takes it to Fantastic Four, because, like Kevin Feige once said, DC, it's not a compare. It's like, if they're making good comic book movies, and we're making good comic book movies, people are going to go see them both. Because they see it as a comic book movie, they're going to go, oh, well, the last one was good, I'll go see the other one. If they're winning, they're winning. That's how it usually works. But where do you think this is going to end up, box office-wise? Because I would not have thought that this film could touch $1 billion.
If it can keep up the positive press and the positive, sort of keep people wanting more, and make sure there's sort of no thing that you show in the trailers or whatever that people won't like. So far, people have loved everything. I mean, one thing I kind of wish they'd change ever so slightly, but it's like a minor thing, and it's something I'll probably get used to, so I'm not that bothered anyways. And that's the Thing's actual voice.
Yeah.
Sounds too normal. I know we said this before, but a friend at work also agreed with me on that, so thank God I'm not the only one. But again, it's not one of those things that's going to be like, oh, this movie's fucking shit. The effects look awesome. The look of the film looks awesome. It's very unique in its tone, and it's the way it's set out. It doesn't really look like a Marvel film. It's got that feel of it, but it doesn't look it. And yeah, the one other thing I'd say is people are complaining about Galactus being small. I think he'll probably grow big. If not, if he is that size, okay, cool. I don't really care.
At least he's not a cloud.
At least he's not a fucking cloud, you know what I mean? And I think, personally, if this happens, this will be really cool. But if it doesn't, fine. But I think that Galactus, when he grows or he starts powering up and getting all the energy, he'll start to look more like the comic book
Yeah.
accurate purple with the blue, a little bit of blue in there. And I think that's what they might do in it, and that's why they're showing so very little. But if they don't, okay, I'm not bothered. It's just an aesthetic choice. But the fact that we already know he's got that big weird dome helmet thing,
Yeah.
I'm it's more like a tube really, but yeah, I'm fine with it. As you know, so far it's winning me over.
Yeah, me too. Do you think we're in for a super-tastic July then? Because I don't think there's ever been a month in history where a film's come out and released $2 billion movies. It could happen in the month of July. Now, they're not all going to make $1 billion in July. Obviously, Fantastic Four comes out at the back end, Superman comes out in the middle. But for them both to release in July and both make $1 billion, that would be fucking nuts. And now that they're both on this list, they're both on that list of proven $1 billion films that make it onto that list. I don't see how it. Yeah, there's a good chance it can't happen if the films are bad, bad quality films and stuff like that. But I were kind of rooting against, especially Superman. I think it's going to be great, but I were kind of rooting against it making a lot of money, like last year. But then that trailer came out and everyone's interested in it. It's like, oh fuck, I didn't think Fantastic Four would have the same interest. Yeah, 50 million behind, but it's up there. Like all time up there.
I'll say this. I think that just being realistic here, and this is just a theory, it's more of like statistics, but you gotta think DC hasn't had a great track record, and again, this is, if you're a proper, into your comic book stuff and your movies and stuff, then you'll know that's, technically kind of not the case necessarily. It's just, they have had a not so great track record, yes.
Only $1 billion film, I believe, in Aquaman.
But the average movie going audience will be like, DC have, so far they've just given us not so great stuff, and some okay stuff, and, rarely anything really good. Say like Wonder Woman and Man of Steel, I think they're like probably the only two. But whereas Marvel, because they've been at it a lot longer and they've gained so much trust from average movie-going audiences, Fantastic Four is more likely to crack $1 billion than Superman. I think so, yeah. You got to factor in that about it. And I get, the trailer for Superman and things like that, yeah, it may have more, but Marvel have got that loyalty there from years and years ago. And I personally think Marvel is more popular, but DC has a more popular. I think Batman's the most I think Batman is more popular than certain aspects of Marvel, but Marvel is popular than DC itself.
Okay, I'll have to look into that more because I'm not too sure. I love them both, but I think everybody knows the big three is Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man when it comes to terms of, notability for a superhero. But, yeah, look, I would have to disagree. I think if there's going to be any film in July that hits $1 billion, I think it would be Superman. And Fantastic Four behind it. Don't get me wrong, I'm a bigger Marvel guy. I'd love to see Fantastic Four succeed and make more than Superman. But, yeah, these numbers don't lie, though. There's a good chance that they both do. Because everyone in that club, in that top 10 trailers in the first 24 hours, has done it. So, nice. Kyle Zoom. Right, come on, Kyle, let's get on to our last topic. You saucy devil.